Hey everybody, I hope you had a good day of trading. Um, for the most part, yesterday's trading was a bit lackluster. Didn't have much. There was a couple of trades that were moving, to the upside, but for the most part, we didn't really get a whole lot of movement upwards. Did get some. Today we're supposed to have the FOMC come out and wreck the market, so be ready for that. Um, I shouldn't say that. It could go either way, depending on how he speaks. Um, Personally, I don't think he's going to have anything favorable, and the market's going to sell off. But we'll see how that works out. We did get a couple of bullish haramis, so those stocks may push up a little bit more into the day, but may have a failure with the FMOC. Um, Nothing really, in my opinion. But we'll see how that works out. All right, well, let's take a look at our majors this morning and get an idea where we're headed as the days move forward. All right, so first up is going to be, of course, our S&P, and the S&P pushed up, into here, ran into some trouble with our major moving averages here, and kind of got rejected a little bit. So let's see how we open up in the morning, Tuesday morning, and see if this resistance area holds true, and we come back down in here and look for some more support in here to retest. But right now it looks like we're getting rejected, pushing higher into the S&P in those trade wins. Next up is going to be our Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, let's take a look at Coinbase this morning and see how it's reacting. Coinbase started to pull back a little bit. Hasn't quite taken out that green bar it posted, but it's pulled back quite a bit. So we'll have to see how we push into Tuesday into Wednesday and see what we're looking. If we lose this support from this moving average here, then we're going to continue to roll over and come back down and retest this area down here. If 77,000 doesn't hold, then look out below on Bitcoin. All right, now let's take a look at our Bitcoin chart on Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim chart kind of shows us still trying to get back up into that channel we had here, but we still have some support in here with our moving averages coming in to support our 200 and our 150 acting as some support. We did get a close of that window that was open, so that's a good sign to be bullish, and we're still technically bullish because we're above our major moving averages here. So we'll have to see what happens with Bitcoin, how it continues to play out. Pre-market, it looks like we're trying to pull back down into here, down to about 77,000, but we'll see if they want to retest that again before rolling back over. All right, but so far Bitcoin is still in the uptrending market, but is showing some weakness. All right, next up is going to be oil, and oil is trying to turn the ship around, finding some support in this area. So we'll see what happens with oil if it wants to continue to push higher. Look for a little bit of a pullback once we get back up into this area on oil, because there's a lot of resistance overhead. And then look for a little pullback, and then maybe a retest. Okay, so oil's got a couple more weeks before it actually manifests and shows us what direction it really wants to head. I suspect it wants to kind of mill around in this area for a little while. Next up is going to be the E-mini S&P, and ran into that rejection area here at our major moving averages. Our trade wins, they're blocking it, knocking it down. So keep an eye on that today. If we get a nice big red bar after the FOMC comes out and does his dance, and we'll see what happens. We may get some support here and continue to roll up with the favorable news, but we'll see. My feeling is that we haven't had enough pain yet, so we're going to probably sell off. Going to probably not have the news they want to hear, and we're going to sell off. because like I said, the country hasn't felt enough pain yet in the financial markets. Next up, because they're not talking about unemployment yet. When they start talking about unemployment, then that's our key to start looking for a move higher. Let's see. Ethereum kind of put on the brakes, still sitting in this area here at 1700. But currently it's got the brakes on and waiting to see what's going to happen with that. Next up is going to be our gold, and our gold's ready to run some more. Put in a nice move here. Got us a little pause here. Now our green's taking out that red bar there and it's ready to continue higher. So keep an eye on that. We should have another push, 2 or 3 bar push up, and then another maybe 2 bar pullback, and then another push higher. All right. So and then we'll come back and we'll find our new support area above our previous high. All right. So yeah, gold's looking pretty good, like it wants to continue pushing on up. So keep an eye on that. Natural gas found some support in this area here at $3.93. Waiting on our trade winds to get up here and support and help lift us higher. But currently, natural gas isn't looking too bad. It's got kind of a natural pullback here, but that may look like a big pullback, but after this run here, that's not too bad. You know what I mean? Because it did hit some resistance here and pull back and almost gave it up and then put it all back in. So that was a big push for it. So it overstretched itself. So it's back into this area looking for some support and then a run higher. So we'll see what happens with that with natural gas. Next up is the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ, same as the others. If you look closely, you'll see that these are all looking quite the same on their movement, and they all getting rejected once they get back to these major moving averages here. And then once these start to roll over, then we're going to continue to sell and fall as far as we're going to fall. They keep talking about how much percentage it's sold off so far, and it may have sold off enough already, but I don't believe so. I think we got a little more pain ahead, and then a correction. But I think personally, I feel, looking at these charts, that if we don't really get some really huge bars coming in, then this thing's going to turn around and head the other direction and put in some big bars. Alright, next up, silver. And silver is going to have to retest that high of $35. And it's been pushing and running pretty well along with gold. So keep an eye on silver. Silver looks bullish and wants to continue to run. But it will run into some issues here in this previous high. Alright, so once it gets to where it's going to go and starts to pull back, look for that 2 or 3 bar pullback. Excuse me. Look for that 2 or 3 bar pullback. Hopefully, if we get above this previous high and we get up through there somewhere, and then come back and find our support before moving a higher dog on it. Let me fix that. So we like to see silver get up above this resistance area here, find some support, and then continue its run. And hopefully our moving averages will continue with it to continue showing us the sign that we want to go higher. Next up is the Dow, and the Dow looking like the rest of them, running into this major moving averages, putting in this fat doji here. So the FMOC, we're waiting to see what happens today in here, and if it's gonna even if we have favorable news, I think we're going to get a little bit of a pullback and then a run for it. I don't think we're ready to just push up through all of this. All right, so look for a little bit of a pullback for a few days, and then maybe a retest. Or if we get a big movement downward, then most likely if we break this 40,000 area on the Dow, we're going to continue to head lower. So keep an eye out, see what's going to happen with that. Next up is corn, and corn is trying to find some support. Got our major moving averages coming up underneath to help out. So we'll see what happens. Alright, we got our 200 moving exponential right here acting as some support. 150 coming up to help out, and we got our 200 simple sitting down here just kind of hanging out. Alright, we're definitely still in an uptrending market in corn, trying to find some support to retest to go higher. And so far it's got it. So corn is bullish. And then the other, that's our corn futures. This is our corn trade here. Alright. And okay, so as you can see, we found some support at this support area here at $18.89. We just got to get back up through these moving averages again and go back to retest. So look for a push, pull, push. Right? If we can get some more time out here, we can build up our strength to head out higher. Alright? What we don't want to do is fight this thing and then give it up more than we want. Okay? So maybe get a little more consolidation time and then a run for it. But looking at corn futures, that just may be what we might get, because we still got to get through this resistance. So boom, 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 and then go. So bump and go, bump and go. All right. Last but not least is the Russell, and the Russell put in a nice 2-bar push. Maybe we can have enough room for another bar to push up through here on the Russell. We'll see what happens. The Russell's been getting beat down pretty good, so this may just be a little dead cat bounce for the Russell. So, and our moving averages is starting to roll over, so keep an eye on the Russell. It may print another bar or two, but got a lot of overhead resistance coming in, so you can trade it, but trade it cautiously on the Russell. Alright, so that's all we got for this trading day. FOMC today, so it can go either way depending on how they want to play it. My guess would be looking at these, looking at the movement on the chart, I'm going to say we're going to get a rejection during the meeting or at the end of the day, and then the rest of this week are going to be down days. My opinion. Don't know it for a fact. I'm just trying to read the leaves. Alright, so that's all I got for you. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and pay attention to these I had a couple of bullish Haramis that I was looking at that I had put a little video out about how to spot them, and I was putting together a little thing on that. See, we had a little bullish Harami right here. This one was below our moving averages, so this one is most likely going to get rejected. Alright, because it's not really in a good position, you know. And I was trying to put together a list of them. Let me see if I can move that over so we can kind of get an idea, and I'll make a little video about bullish Haramis every other day or whatever, as we can see it, so we can actually see the movement in somewhat real time. So we'll get to that as well. see. Alright, so I'm going to put together that video so we can just sit there and pick out the bullish Harami and how it moves in real time this week. Because there was quite a few of them, and I was building a watch list just in Haramis so we can all see them. So I'll get back with you on that, okay? But be looking for that video, okay, on the bullish Harami, because I'd like for everybody to kind of see how those come into play, and then, you know, what happens afterwards. This one, you know, is in a bad area, okay? It's got all this overhead resistance, so what happens in here, anybody can, it's anybody's guess, okay? It definitely has some resistance, kind of like this one back here, right here, okay? This Harami here. Okay, we got a pop up, but had all this overhead resistance, and boom, look what happened. Came all the way back down in here. Okay, so we may have the similar thing over here. Okay, so, but I'm going to put together a video on bullish Haramis, another video, I should say, on bullish Haramis, and then you can, you know, kind of follow on those kind of things, and then I'll make another video too on how to spot a lot of these other bar plays and movements and whatnot. You know, not just a bullish Harami, but there's a bearish Harami also. So we'll look for those, and we'll look for, you know, bearish type patterns, and we'll look for bullish type patterns. And then I'll do a video on those bullish patterns and one of those bearish patterns and how to spot them. Alright, so we'll just try to keep this thing growing and knowing for all of us. Okay, so that's all I got for now. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and be careful out there. These markets are crazy.